Morning everybody, Larry with Puddle Jumpers Fishing here. It is coming towards spring. Super excited, can't wait to get out and do some major fishing. But before I do, there's one important thing that I'd like to do every year before I go and start fishing. Nobody likes to do it, but it's something that's got to be done, and that's maintenance on my equipment. I change out all the line, I get all my bearings oiled up, I get my worm gears greased up. So today I'm here at my local tackle shop, Susquehanna Fish and Tackle, and we're gonna go in here and I'm gonna get everything that I need to get all my rods and maintenance, so I'm ready for the upcoming season. That's what I'm grabbing today. Cigar yellow and VizX fluorocarbon. The diameter is much smaller than any of the other fluorocarbon. It's a little more expensive, but that's what I like to use. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
It's beautiful.
It is nice.
Yeah. So then they have limited edition, which
So
yeah, it's nice and light, and it's different handle, and the casting system's the same though. Same casting system. I think it has a lighter spool. Does it have a lighter spool?
Yeah, I put a regular SV spool in mine, but yeah, that has a lighter spool.
That has a lighter spool in it, so it's pretty sweet.
So is there a benefit between the standard and the compact?
I don't think there's that much difference between them other than size.
A little bit of weight on the compact.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a size difference, a little bit of weight. Guys, and like I said, it does have the new design side plate, which is a no adjust, side plate on there that they put on there. But no, I mean the casting wise, you won't tell a difference.
Well, let's go with that one.
I don't even know if I have it left-handed.
You gotta have it left-handed.
Yeah, so 7-to-1.
Really like it. Hey,
Oh, yeah, 7-to-1.
Tatula SV
compact.
It gotta be left-handed.
Yeah.
Really like it. What can I do
No,
for
we
you?
can't help you backwards.
I just need a
He's backwards. Tony's backwards.
Yeah, I heard that.
So yeah, that's the SVTW, and so this is the reel that really set them off, and it has this SV casting system, which is a centrifugally driven magnetic system that you just don't. It's not available in anything else. It's their own patented design. But what happens is when you cast,
PA or Maryland?
PA.
the cup shoots out into the magnets.
Just click down here on PA.
And then as the RPMs slow down, it pulls back out of the magnets. And the problem with magnetic reels that are out there is they draw the same from start to finish. So at the end of your cast, where you don't need as much magnetics, it's still drawing that same amount. So you get a tail off on your cast, or your distance gets sacrificed. This one here, it shoots out into the magnets, and then as the RPMs slow down, it pulls out. And at the end of your cast, you basically have a free spool. So your accuracy is pinpoint. You get that extra little distance out of your cast. But it's a little different than a lot of casting reels. You don't even mess with this over here. You put this on its wide open setting,
Because that's what you had.
and then everything is done with this dial over here. It's all magnetic casting system. And then the SV spool is that it's a lighter spool, and it throws like
And you'll catch as many fish as you
anybody can throw.
Right.
Anybody can throw without a backlash. You can throw it into the wind.
Averages and odds.
You can get distance out of it. You can throw crankbaits on it. You can throw spinnerbaits on it. You can throw top water. Anything you want on it, and you're going to get maximum performance out of it. And it's a no-brainer.
All right.
So then what happened from there is then they went to what they call the compact. And I don't think I have it in left hand, but I'll show it to you. So basically all they did was they made just a little bit smaller, lower profile frame. Same size spool, but now they have the new side plate where, see how hard it is to get your fingers on there?
Right.
Because they don't want you to mess with it. So it's the same casting system, just in a little bit smaller, compact design,
It's the only one.
and with the new side plate on it. It's called a no adjust side plate.
So you don't have to look at the, you know how you normally do it.
You don't even do it.
You
So
look at the, the movement in here.
yeah.
And,
So what you do
try to-
is you actually, if you don't really know where you're at, you loosen this up until it goes side to side, and then you tighten it until it just stops. So essentially, it's a wide open spool.
Right.
It's just wide open. And then the magnets over here, I tell guys to start out on like between 8
I haven't
and 10.
fished it yet this year.
If you're new to bait casting, start out at 10.
I know we
And
fished it
it's
last fall.
super simple to cast. And then once you get dialed in, you can just back it off till you get it right where you want it to go.
But the
But
level is super high.
that's it. This is your adjustment.
So where are we at from here to what we were talking about earlier with the SLX?
So the SLX
I
is,
think it dropped out to like.
they have a DC system. So that's called digital control. And digital control is, it's, when you cast, you power this little computer chip in there, and it pulses magnetic pulses onto the spool,
Until the trolling motor batteries.
and it
By then,
magnetically
we were down.
does it also. And so it does similar to this,
And then the crank
but it's a
battery.
little bit more wide open, and it's a little harder to
Now we
cast
got no trolling
because
motor, no crank.
it's
What do you
more of a
mean, buddy?
wide open setting, you know, and it's right
no
on the
problem.
edge all the time, and you have to get used to it. You can't overpower that reel, but once you get used to it, you're going to outcast any other reel on the market. You're going to get more distance than anything on the market. But it's a little bit more hairier to set, you know, to get set properly and to cast. When you pick it up at DC, you just can't pick it up and you know chuck real hard. You have to be nice and smooth, but you'll outcast anything that you own, you know. So I really like the DC for summertime, you know, flats fishing, when you're fishing shallow water, need to make a long cast. I really like that DC. But whereas this,
So every time you bought,
you can, it still casts far, don't get me wrong, but this is a much simpler casting system, much friendlier casting system, I should say. That's what it is.
Okay.
So they have, this is one of the greatest prices ever. They're $199.
So this guy brings this rod
And then
reel
this, the compact is $199, and then they got the Elite series. And the Elite series, I don't think I have any of the rest of the Elite series though.
He goes, I found
But the Elite series is the same reel, same casting system, but now it's aluminum side plates. Two aluminum side plates, so they beef it up a little bit there, make it a little bit more durable. They changed this a little bit inside the reel here to make it a little bit more durable. And that's the Elite series right there. And then then they have the Ultimate, which is the Tatula
last time he fished down there on the bay,
limited edition.
we didn't go
Right.
up the
So
river.
this one is like,
So I'd say he lost
Limit.
this is
rod
boss.
about-
This is the boss. This is one.
Gold.
Hey guys, this is Greg from Daiwa, hanging out at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle in Columbia, Pennsylvania. Want to show you what we have coming out here. It's one of the first shops to have them. This is the new Daiwa Exist. One of the lightest, if not the lightest reels on the market. 6.3 ounces with 22 pounds of drag on the 3000 size. They have them here at the shop. Come check it out. It's one of the smoothest reels you'll ever feel in your hand. One of the lightest reels and strongest reels. Got the monocoque body, all the air rotors. We got a new bail system. So come check that out at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle.
Welcome guys, I'm out here today getting my new reel, getting all my setup, getting ready to go fishing, and of course I come out here and the Daiwa guys are here today. So of course they had a great deal on a new Daiwa rod, so I had to jump on that. All the new stuff they have come out, they got some rods, they got reels. Check out Daiwa, come out here to Susquehanna Fish Tackle. It's just an awesome place to be.
One thing I wanted to show you guys, when you walk into the shop and you come in, you see the rod displays. The Tatula Elite rods here at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle. I want you guys to come in and check them out. They are matched up with pros, so our professional anglers on the tours actually design these rods, and you can come in and pick out either a casting or a spinning rod that you prefer for the type of fishing, whether it's skipping, light topwater, jerkbait rods. Say it right on the actual rod. So come and check them out, feel the actions. They are pinpoint for what you want to do for the style of freshwater fishing that you like. Buy a full series, check them out. Susquehanna Fish Tackle has all of them. That's the Daiwa Tatula Elite Series rods.
This is just the kind of place to be. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping me here today. Awesome deal. Now they do have other stuff, but Daiwa is the way to go. Surf rods, big giant surf rods. Shimano crazy. They are Shimano crazy here. G Loomis, St. Croix, G Loomis. Thank you, all the guys here out at Susquehanna Fish and Tackle. for the hookup today. They helped me out with line. They helped me out with getting the right oil and grease for all my equipment. So everything is running in top notch. After picking up that awesome Daiwa lure this morning, I realized, man, I really need to be prepared for the upcoming fishing season. So I know nobody likes to do it, but here we are today in my garage. So obviously the first thing we need to do is take care of our reels. I'm going to remove this Texas rig. I'm going to remove all the string off of this reel, and I'm going to show you how I lube the bearings, grease the worm wheel, give them a quick wash in, make sure all the dirt and grime from last year's season is off of this rod. We'll give an examine to the reel. We'll, take a look at everything, make sure the way that it holds the rods on is still secure. Take a look at all the eyes. Just get a good visual inspection of your rod to make sure there's no hairline cracks or anything like that. But first, let's get this old line off. So there's all kinds of ways on YouTube to get the old line off. I just do the old yank it off with my hands method. So just activate the reel. Get your rod set up somewhere where it's secure. I have an old lamp here, and just start pulling it up, balling it up, getting all this old line off of here. As you can see, not sure if you can see that in the camera, but look at the memory on that line, just from being stored all winter long. So this is what you don't want. You don't want that old memory. That'll prevent your lure from really working the way that it should, especially on a Texas rig or something that has no weight like a Cinco or something. As you put it out there, the line starts to coil up, and it will actually move your lure how you don't want it to move. So stay tuned. I'm gonna get all this old line off, and then we'll get back to what I do for the maintenance here. All right, so I took the time, gave my rod a very good inspection. This is a Shimano Intenza. This is a 7-foot medium heavy. So I got a good look at the rod. Needed a little bit of cleaning here at the handle where the reel was, but other than that, the rod is in great shape. All the eyes are good, secure, has all the ceramics in it. I gave it a good wipe down with some water and some alcohol. Other than that, this rod is good to go for the 2022 bass fishing season. All right, so I have my reel off of my rod. I took some Q-tips and I cleaned up all the little nooks and crannies on this reel to make sure that all the dirt and grime and the algae from last year's fishing season is off this rod, and it's good and clean. And so you always want to make sure that all your equipment is good and clean and in good operating order. So with Daiwas, to take this apart, there's a little screw on this side. You unscrew it a couple times until the screw pops up like that, and then you just move it, and then your whole, your braking system will come off. Set that off to the side, and then you have your spool that'll come off. So inside your spool, inside the rod and inside your spool is a bearing that I just put a little bit of oil on. A little bit of oil goes a long way. Make sure, of course, all this is all cleaned up inside as well. I'll show you what oil I use. All right, guys, I just want to take the moment. The stuff that I use is subjective. All the major brands have their own oil and precision grease. I like to use Abu Garcia, both their oil and their precision grease. It is a good, high quality oil and grease. It's not the top end stuff, but it's stuff that's always been good to me throughout the years, keeping my equipment running at peak performance. Feel free to go out there and check out the other brands, but Abu Garcia has been around for a long time, and this is the stuff that I like to use. There is a bearing inside here that I like to just put one little tiny drip in. And then I take my spool after everything's all good and cleaned up, and I stick a drop or two just on the end of this spool. because when I take it and I put the spool back in my reel and turn it this way, all that oil makes its way into that bearing that's inside your handle. And then we take that and we put this all back together. Make sure everything's back together. Tighten that screw down on your handle. The screw doesn't come the whole way out in this Daiwa Tatula reel, but out of the manufacturer's loose and things like that are going to be a little different. So after I'm done with that, I just want to, you know, run this oil real good through the bearings, make sure all the bearings are lined up, or bearings are oiled up. And you're good to go there. So the next thing I like to do is way down in here, there's a worm gear that runs. I like to put a little bit of grease on that. I'll show you here in a moment. All right, so this is gonna be kind of hard to show on camera, but inside of here is a worm gear. You'll see it. It's different on all models, but on this Tatula. And then I use their precision grease, Abu Garcia. A little tiny bit of grease goes a long way. So when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit, because you put too much grease in there, it'll start picking up dirt and things like that, and you have problems with your reel. So just put a little tiny bit. I just put a little tiny bit right in the center of the worm gear. And then what I do is I just run my reel a bunch of times. And what that does is it gets that grease worked into that worm gear. And you'll feel it, you know, if you had dirt or your bearings were starting to dry up, or your worm gear was starting to dry up, you'll feel the difference when you put this oil and grease in here. So I like to just make sure there ain't no big chunks of oil or grease anywhere. And that setup's done. All we gotta do is put the line back on it, hook our lure back up, and we're ready to fish. I got 7 or 8 more of these to do. Once I get everything taken apart, greased, oiled, and all the old line off, I'll get back with you guys. I'll show you how I put the line on my combos, and we'll be ready for the upcoming season. I'm super excited about this year. I have so many reviews to do, giveaways like you guys wouldn't believe. You need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a video. Hit that like button, throw a comment down below. If you guys do any type of different maintenance to your rods, hey, I'm always open for a good idea to keep my equipment running as long as possible. Give me a minute, guys. Let me get all this other stuff done, and we'll show you how I put line back on my equipment. All right, so we're back. I got all my rods and reels cleaned up, examined, greased, and lubed. Worst part of the season, but it's something that needs to be done if you want to continue with the longevity of your equipment. The last thing you want to do is spend top dollar on rods and reels like this Daiwa Tatula or this Shimano Intenza. Yeah, they're not the high-end stuff, but I spend a lot of money. When you have a couple $100 into a rod and reel combo, you definitely want to make sure you do the proper maintenance, as well as when you're out on the water and you catch that giant, you have the ability to know that your line, rod, and reel has the ability to get that fish into the boat. So this is the little contraption I use for my bait casting rods and my spinning rods. This will do both. So I do have it all set up here on my Daiwa Tatula, and I'm going to go ahead and get this all strung up. This setup is my Texas rig setup. So I use 15-pound Seaguar and VizX on this line, on this rod and reel setup. So all I do is I just slowly go ahead and make sure that the line's going on nice and smooth the whole way across this reel. Don't go too fast, don't go too slow. especially when you have 8 rods to do. And I just keep filling this rod up nice and smooth, making sure it's going on right. If for some reason it's not going on right, stop, take the line back off, start over again. You want to make sure that the line is nice and even the whole way across your reel spool. Boy, with this grease and this oil on here, this rod is smooth as butter. This reel feels so good. It's nice and clean. Can't wait to catch some giants this year on it. Something I wanted to show you guys. I'm not sure you guys can see in the video, but I don't fill the spool up the whole way. I leave about 1/8 of an inch of the spool left over. I do some skipping with this setup, with my Texas rig setup. So it seems to be a little bit easier for me. Could be in my head, I don't know. But I seem to be able to skip a little bit better when I don't have my spool spooled up completely full with line. So that's about where I stop at, about 1/8 inch of the spool left, and I like to leave it there. And there we go. All fresh line, Woo tungsten, weight, brand new, super sharp Gamakatsu 3/0 hook, all set up on my Texas rig. All my rods are done. Yeah, it took me a couple hours to get all these rods done, but it is so worth it. It's the last thing you want to do is be out there hooking to a fish of a lifetime and have you lose that fish because you didn't properly maintain the gear. 2022 is going to be super exciting, so stay tuned, enjoy all the videos. Remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, hit that thumbs up, put your comment down below and let me know what you're interested in seeing, or if you have any questions on any of the equipment that I use on a daily basis.